Hi all. So finally the D-Day and we are looking at the slot 1 all memory based questions, and in fact I and my students have been successful enough to get the whole paper for you. And as the saying goes that the paper seems to be easy after the examination, but yes, it's the time pressure that plays a big game. I understand a lot of you might have been disappointed with the quant section here, right? But let me tell you, yes, the paper was difficult. I would not be surprised if I see a 99 percentile with a score of 28 to 30, right? At the same time, somewhere around 15 to 16 could easily be an 80 to 85 percentile. So don't get disheartened. At the same time, guys, let me tell you, as I've always been saying in my classes, that there are easy questions in the paper. So were there easy questions in this paper? Let's find out in today's session. Before we continue, I would like you to like this video, subscribe to our channel so that you keep being updated with our videos on decision making and other areas as well. And let's get started. So how was the paper like? I would say it was more or less paper which dominated arithmetic, or when I was writing the paper, I felt that progressions is a very favorite word for the examiner here, right? So yeah, we had around 7 to 8 questions coming up from arithmetic, 7 to 8 questions coming up from algebra. There were 4 questions coming up from geometry, one beautiful question from numbers. Surprisingly, 2 questions from modern maths, and both of them were the easiest in the paper. Right, so let's look at this paper. Let's try to analyze how the paper has gone, because this sets a benchmark for us for other examinations as well, right? And over a period of time, we should also be comfortable with how to solve slightly difficult questions which come up in CAT and the strategies to look at them. So let's look at this paper now. So what I've done is, in this video, I've arranged the questions, assuming the questions were easy according to me. So stay tuned till the end of the video to look at all the questions of the slot 1 paper. I repeat, we have successfully been able to bring 22 questions for you, which are memory based, right? So let's look at the first question. Now this was the easiest question in the paper. It definitely comes from permutations and combinations, but it's a basic question which is basing on the counting techniques. Now this question says the number of natural numbers up to 1000 with no repeating digits. Now it's a very easy question. If I'm talking number of natural numbers up to 1000, I'm talking about single digit numbers. None of the single digit numbers repeat. So single digit numbers are going to be 1 into 9, which will be 9 such numbers. Now when I talk about 2 digit numbers, okay, so if I have 2 digits, the first place cannot have a 0. That means the first place can have all the digits from 1 to 9. The first place can take 9 digits multiplied with. Since 0 is open here and I'm not repeating my number of digits, I further have 9 more digits to put in place, and therefore the total number of numbers become 81. Suppose if the first place has 1, the second place will have all the numbers from 0 to 9 excluding 1. That means I'll have further 9 more digits, and therefore 9 into 9 becomes 81. Similarly, when I go to my 3-digit numbers, right, 3-digit numbers are going to be 9 into 9 into 8, since I'm not repeating them. So 9 nines are 81, 81 eights are 648. So 648 plus 81 plus 9 gives me 90. 648 plus 90. So the answer for the first question is 738, and it was definitely there in one of the options. This is not a theta question. So for the first question, or the most easy question of the paper according to me, the answer should be 730H. Right? Let's look at the second question. The second question says B went for an 8-hour trip. Now before the trip, the car had traveled a total of X kilometers till then, where X is a whole number and is a palindrome. Now what is a palindrome? Palindrome is a number that remains unchanged no matter you read from left to right or you read from right to left. For a simple example, I can take 121 as a palindrome. So if you read from left to right, it is 121. You read from right to left, it is also 121. So X is a palindrome which is given to us. And I'm told that that person is traveling certain distance in 8 hours. That means the distance traveled is, let's say, 8 hours. And let's say there is some average speed per hour. That is what is asked in the question. So total distance covered is 8a. Right? And this eventually leaves us with 26862 as the final kilometer reading in the car, right? And I'm asked that if B never drove more than 110 kilometers, okay? If Brishti never drove more than 110 kilometers, then find the greatest possible speed, right? So the best way to look at this question is, going by options. I know X is a palindrome. So therefore the value of x will be 26862 minus 8a. Clear? Now let's replace. Since I'm asked the highest possible speed, let's replace the options. If I replace the option as 110, this becomes 26862 minus 880. Which will actually give us how much, guys? This will give us 8. This will give us again an 8. Clear? Right? 8 is 16 here, right? So it's 88. And then this will give us a 9 and this will give us a 25988. This is a palindrome, this is not a palindrome. Now let's go with the second largest option given to us, which is 100. So this becomes 8 into 100, that is 800. If I look at it, this becomes 26062. And if I observe, this is definitely a palindrome. You read from left to right, it is 26062. You read from right to left, it is also 26062. And therefore, this is going to be a palindrome. And the answer for this question becomes 100. Right, now let's look at this question. Now this question says the salary of three friends S, G and M are initially in the ratio of 5:6:7. In the first year, they get hikes of 20%, 25% and 20% respectively. Right, now I always keep telling in my class that if I have a ratio and I'm applying percentages, instead of taking 5x, 6x, 7x, let's take their salaries as 500x, 600x and 700x. That will make the job pretty easy for us. So this is the salary of S, this is the salary of G and this is the salary of M. Right, now there is a hike. So in the first year, this guy gets a hike of 20%, that is 1 by 5. 1 by 5 means I'm adding 100 to this. G gets a hike of 25%. 25% is 1 by 4. 1 by 4 of 600 is 150. That is 150x. And the third gets a hike of again 1 by 5. 1 by 5 becomes 140x. So at the end of first year, their salaries look like 600x, 750x and 840x. Right, now I'm given that in the second year, S and M get a hike of 40% and 25% respectively. So in the second year, 40% of 600, the hike is going to be 240x and 25% is 1 by 4. So 1 by 4 of 840 is 210x. That means their salaries now become 1050x and this guy's salary becomes 840x. So what is the sum of S plus M here? The sum of S plus M would be 840x plus 1050x, which will actually give me 1890x. And I'm told that G's salary becomes the average of this. That means this I divide by 2. So G's salary becomes 945x. So if I subtract 945x and 750x, then we get 195x is the increase of the salary of G here. Now what is the question asking? The salary hike of G in the second year, the options were in the form of percentage. So the percentage increase is going to be 195 upon the base value, that is 750 multiplied by 100. So this is 25 fours are, this is 25 30s are. Right, we can further simplify this as 5 6 and this is 5 30, 5 3s is 15 45, 5 39s. We can further cancel, this is 2 3s and 3 2s and 3 13s and this is 2 1s and this is 2 2s. So 13 into 2, that means the answer for this question is 26%. So if you have ticked 26%, you should have got the answer. So you see guys, 3 questions in the first case. If you have been able to select these 3 questions, you should have been able to get the 3 answers here. Now let's look at this question. G sells 2 objects A and B at the same price, such that she makes a profit of 20% on object A and a loss of 10% on object B. So I have object A and object B. Right, and I'm told that SP of A is equal to SP of B. Now if I make a 20% profit on object A and I'm assuming that the cost price of A is equal to A and the cost price of B is equal to B. So the 20% profit, my selling price becomes 1.2 of A, and with a 10% loss, my selling price becomes 0.9 of B. So if I simplify this, I get A by B is equal to 9 by 12, or which is again equal to 3 by 4. So let's again take 300x as the cost price of A and 400x as the cost price of B. Now, if she increases the selling price such that the objects A and B are sold at an equal price and a profit of 10% is made at object B. So 10% of 40, which means I'm making a 40x profit. So the selling price of B becomes 440, and I'm told that A is also sold at the same selling price. That means A is also sold at 440x. Clear? That means what is the profit made here? The profit made here is going to be 140x. The profit made on object A will be nearest to, again options were in the form of percentage, so we have to calculate the profit percentage, that is profit upon cost price multiplied by 100. So x gets cancelled, 00 gets cancelled, so this is 3 4s are 12, 20, you have 46.66 percentage. Nearest to, when you round off, your answer for this question here becomes 47 percentage should be the value of the profit that G is making in this transaction. Now again a simple question on SI and CI. So A invests 22,000 for 6 years in a certain scheme at 4% per annum compounded half yearly. That means what is the amount that A gets? So amount of A would be equal to 22,000. The interest now becomes half, that becomes 2%, so multiplying factor becomes 1.02, and the time period becomes double, so 6 years will give me 12 times, so this becomes the amount of A. Clear? Now, S invests this in the same scheme for 5 years, so let's talk about amount of S after 5 years. Amount of S after 5 years is, let's say S rupees into again 1.02 whole to the power 10, right? Now, S invests this entire amount at 10% simple interest, which means if I talk about principal plus 10 into 1 year into principal by 100 becomes the amount of S after 6th year. So, if I simplify, this will be nothing but 110 by 100 of P. Clear? Which means amount of S after 6 years becomes 110 by 100 into the principal, and the principal value is S into 1.02 whole to the power 10. And now what am I told? I'm told that the amount received at the end of 6 years is same for both of them. So we have 22,000 into 1.02 whole to the power 12 is equal to 11 by 10 into 1.02 whole to the power 10 into S. So this 11 gets cancelled with 2000. We cross multiply, this 10 and 10 gets cancelled, so I'm left with 2. So the value of S here becomes 20,000 into 1.02 whole square. Now 1.02 whole square should be 10404, clear? So 20,000 into 1.0404, and if I simplify, that becomes 20,808 becomes the amount invested by S, and this was a theta question, and therefore the answer to this question becomes 20,808. If you want, you could have also cross-checked with the options here. So if I use my if I use my calculator, 1.02 into 1.02 is 1.0404 into 20,000, and that gives you 2,808. So do not take any risks. Simple question, calculation intensive. You should have got your answer here. Clear? Now, this was again a beautiful question that has come up from the previous year's CAT questions. I have also recorded a lot of previous year questions on different topics, and I'm glad that, if you would have done all of them, those questions or those topics would have been really handy, like logarithms, speed, time and distance, time and work. A lot of these topics were helpful here. Now, what am I told here? R travels from A to B. So, I have distance A to B, and S travels from B to A, and both start along the same time. Okay. After meeting, let's say they meet somewhere here at M. R takes 6 hours to reach this distance. So this becomes 6 into the speed of R. While S takes 24 hours to reach this distance, that means this distance becomes 24 into speed of S. Now, if the time taken to reach the opposite end after meeting is given, the simple funda that we saw in our previous videos is speed of R by speed of S will be equal to square root of time taken by S divided by time taken by R to reach the opposite end after meeting. That becomes square root of 24 by 6, which will be square root of 4 by 1. When I take square root of 4 by 1, the ratio of speeds becomes 2:1. And I'm told that R travels at a speed of 54. So if 2 parts is 54, 1 part is 27. So this distance becomes 24 into 27 and this distance becomes 6 into 54. We can simplify, this becomes 6 into 50 is 300, 6 fours are 24, so this part is 324. And this is 24 into 27, we can write this as 24 into 24 plus 3. Now 24 square is 576 plus 24 into 3 is 72, so this will give you 648 as the value. So this part becomes 648. So what is the distance of AB? The distance of AB becomes 648 plus 324. So 600 plus 300 is 900, 48 plus 24 is 72, and therefore we can calculate the value as 972 as the distance between A and B in kilometers, right? So if you know this model, it's a very easy question to look at. Now this is one more very easy question from triangles coming up. So in a right angle triangle, ABC, the altitude AB is 5 centimeters. So let me draw this. So I have a triangle ABC and I have an altitude AB called 5, I have a base called 12. So 5, 12 and 13 become the triplets. Right? P and Q are 2 points on BC. So let's say this is P and this is Q. P and let me write this as Q. P and Q are 2 points on BC. This whole part is equal to 12. Such that I am given that the areas of triangle ABP and areas of triangle ABQ and areas of triangle ABC are in arithmetic progression. As I told you, you would see a progression as a word lot many times used in the examination. So if they are in progression, let us understand that the middle value, that means the area of ABQ will be equal to the average of ABC plus ABP. So this will be ABC plus ABP divided by 2. Clear? Now what am I given? Can I calculate the value of ABC? Yes, the area of triangle ABC. Let's calculate the triangle ABC. The area of triangle ABC is equal to half into 5 into 12, which is equal to 30 given to us. Now I'm told that ABC is 1.5 times the area of ABP. The question is asking you find the value of PQ, okay? The area of ABC is 1.5 times, so that is 30 is equal to 1.5 times the area of ABP. Which means the value of ABP becomes 30 or 300 divided by 15, which will be equal to 20. And we know area of ABQ is the average of these two, so 20 plus 30 by 2, which means the area of ABQ becomes 25. And now I want the value of PQ. If you understand PQ, for ABP, BP becomes the base, so I can write this as half into 5 into BP is equal to 20. So this becomes 5 ones are 5 fours are, or the value of BP is equal to 8. And for ABQ, BQ becomes the base, so we can write half into 5 into BQ is equal to 25. This is 5 ones are 5 fives are. That means the value of BQ becomes 10. Now how do I find PQ? PQ is nothing but BQ minus BP will give me PQ. That is going to be 10 minus 2. So 10 minus 8 and the final answer is going to be 2. So this is 8. This whole part is 10. So therefore this part here becomes 2. And therefore the answer for this question becomes 2. Which is again not a difficult question according to me. Anything coming up from right angle triangles should be an easy question in the examination. Let's look at this question. Now this question was according to me the highlight of this paper because the word harmonic progression has been used in CAT strangely because so far we have not seen the word called harmonic progression. And as I always tell in class that you don't get a direct application of harmonic progression. We just need to understand the application of harmonic progression that if I have a series in harmonic progression, then the inverse of the series becomes a series in arithmetic progression. This would make your job easy. Convert what is a very unique term given to you into the term that you can understand. Now in time and work, if I'm talking about number of days and I'm talking about efficiency, I know number of days is inversely proportional to efficiency or efficiency is inversely proportional to number of days. And I'm told that the amount of job that A, S and K can individually do in a day, that means I'm talking about the efficiency or the rate of work. So R is in harmonic progression. So I'm given that the value of R is in harmonic progression. Since n is inversely proportional, so the value of n will always be in arithmetic progression. And I have A, I have S, and I have K. Clear? I'm told that K takes twice as much time as A to do the job. So if K takes 2x days, A will take x days. Applying the arithmetic progression rule, the center value will be the average of the other two values. That means this value becomes 3x divided by 2. And the inverse of this series is in harmonic progression. So if I assume my total work as 1 unit, this part becomes 1 by x, this part becomes 2 by 3x, and this part becomes 1 by 2x. Clear? Now I'm told that A and S work for 4 and 9 days. So the work done by A in 4 days is 4 by x, plus the work done by S in 9 days is 9 into 2, that is 18 by 3x. And K needs 16 days to complete the work, so work done by K in 16 days is 16 by 2x, and this is equal to my total work. So we can cancel, this is 6 and this is 8. So 4 plus 6 is 10, 10 plus 8 is 18, so we have 18 by x is equal to 1, or we get the value of x is equal to 18. In a very simplified manner, we get the value of x. Right? Now I'm told that the number of days taken by S to complete the job, number of days taken by S to complete the job is 2 by 8, so 3 by 2 into x, that is 3 by 2 into 18. This is 3 ones are 3 nines are 3 nines are 27, so therefore 27 is the total number of days taken by S to complete the job. Clear? Now, this was again a beautiful question, question coming up from series in a way. Let's try to understand. A lab experiment measures the organisms at 8 a.m. every day. Let's say day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, and so on, so on, so on. We are going till nth day. The first day we are starting with 2 organisms. Now, on any day, it is equal to 3 more than twice the previous day. So, 2 2s are 4 plus 3 is equal to 7. 2 7s are 14 plus 3 is equal to 17. 2 17s are 34 plus 3 is equal to 37. 2 37s are 74 plus 3 is equal to 77, and so on, so on, so on. I want to reach up to 1 million, that is 10 lakhs, 10 to the power 6. Clear? Now let's try to understand this series. This is increasing by 5. Now this is increasing by 10. This is increasing by 20. This is increasing by 40, and so on, so on, so on. So what do I observe? That the increment is in geometric progression. 5 into 2, 10 into 2, 40 into 2, and so on, so on, so on. Clear? So what can I say is, I can say that 2 plus an increment of geometric progression, that is 5 to the power 5 into 2 to the power x minus 1 divided by common ratios, again 2 minus 1 should be greater than or equal to 10 lakhs. Now subtracting 2 will not have a huge impact, so I can simplifiably write this as 5 into 2 to the power x minus 1 should be equal to 10, or should be greater than or equal to 10 lakhs, or 2 to the power x should be greater than or equal to 2 lakhs. So again, if I take 1 on the other side, it doesn't make a difference. So 2 to the power x should be greater than or equal to, let's say, 2 lakh 1. Now, the powers of 2 come very handy here. So let's say 2 to the power 10 we know is 1024. And I would take this as 2 to the power 7. 2 to the power 7 is 128. So if you multiply 1024 into 128, you can use your calculator. This is not up to 2 lakhs. So let's go with 2 to the power 8 here. So 2 to the power 10 into 2 to the power 8 definitely is greater than 2 lakhs. That means the value of x is equal to 18. That means after the first day, there have been 18 increments. If there have been 18 increments, that means the value of n. That means if I reach the 19th day, my answer is going to be greater than 1 million. Again, repeat, I'm not very sure of the answer. I'm yet to check the answer from the key. But according to my understanding, the answer for this question becomes 19th day. On the 19th day, the value will definitely exceed 1 million, and that becomes our required answer. Clear? Now this question, a lot of you would see this question and leave this question, but trust me, I would find this question as the easiest question of the paper because nothing was involved. You had to just apply the formula. Right? Arithmetic mean of these two terms is equal to this. So let me write this as 1 by root x plus root z plus 1 by root x plus root y divided by 2 is equal to 1 by root y plus root z. So let's take the LCM, let's multiply 2 here, and I'm taking the LCM as root x plus root z into root x plus root y. So what do I get here? I get root x plus root y plus root x plus root z is equal to 2 divided by root y plus root z. Okay, now let's cross multiply. So what do we have? We have root y plus root z into 2 root x plus root y plus root z is equal to 2 into root x plus root z into root x plus root y. Now let's simplify this here. So this becomes 2 root xy, left hand side part, plus this becomes y, plus this becomes root yz, plus this becomes 2 root xz, clear, plus this becomes root zy, plus this becomes z, which is equal to, on the right hand side you have 2 into root x will give you x, plus this will give you root xy, plus this will give you root xz, plus this will give you root yz. If you open the brackets, what do we finally get? We get root x, 2 root xy plus 2 root xz plus root yz will again give you 2 root yz plus y plus z is equal to 2x plus 2 root xy plus 2 root yz plus 2 root zx. So all these three terms will get cancelled, and eventually we are left out with what? Y plus z is equal to 2x, or we have y plus z by 2 is equal to x, which means x is the middle term and y and z are on the either side, either z yxz or zxy are in arithmetic progression, and this was in one of the options given to you, and therefore this becomes our final answer. Right, so let's move to the next question here. Now this is a beautiful question on removal and replacement. Again, we had seen a question of this kind in our previous year questions. So if you would have seen that previous year questions video, this concept would have been very handy. Let's understand this. So this a mixture is formed by removing a certain amount of coffee. Let's say there are C liters of C grams of coffee, right? Let's say C liters or C grams of coffee in a coffee jar, and it's replaced by cocoa powder. Let's say I'm replacing with X grams of cocoa powder. Now the same, and is replaced, right? So it's removal and replacement. So for removal and replacement, if I'm replacing with cocoa powder, my formula becomes final quantity of coffee is equal to initial quantity of coffee whole into 1 minus quantity removed by total initial quantity whole to the power n, and n represents the number of times the experiment is done. The same amount is again removed and replaced, that means the experiment is done 2 times. Now what happens? 16 is to 9. That means the amount of coffee in the end is going to be 16 by 25 into C, which is equal to initial amount of coffee is C into 1 minus X divided by C whole square. And I've been telling in my classes, if this is a square, then this will also be a perfect square, 16 by 25. C gets cancelled. We take the square root here. This becomes 4 by 5 is equal to 1 minus X by C, or eventually I get X by C is equal to 1 by 5. So let's understand that X is the quantity that I'm replacing and removing. So C here, cocoa powder here. Experiment 1. I had 5 grams of coffee. I removed 1 gram of coffee. I added 1 gram of cocoa powder. So in the mixture P, I had 4 of coffee and 1 of cocoa powder in the ratio of 4:1. Now in the second experiment, I am again removing 1 gram. So this part will become 4 by 5 of 1 removed. This part becomes 1 by 5 of 1 removed. And I am adding 1 more gram here. Clear? Which means the final in Q, the cocoa powder will be 1 minus 1 by 5 is 4 by 5. 4 by 5 plus 1. 1 can be written as 5 by 5. That becomes 9 by 5. Now I'm asked the quantity of cocoa powder in P and Q. So this is 1 is to 9 by 5, or when you cross multiply, the answer here becomes 5 is to 9, and that becomes the final answer for this question. So if you know the concept, this becomes a very easy question to understand in the examination and get your final answer. Now logarithms, we have seen a lot of questions in logarithms in the previous year questions. This was a beautiful question. Let's simplify the logarithmic equation. If I simplify the logarithmic equation, this becomes x to the power 4 is equal to x square plus 12, or this gives me x to the power 4 minus x square minus 12 is equal to 0. Now this becomes a quadratic equation if we assume x square is equal to, let's say, t. So this becomes how much, guys? This becomes t square minus t minus 12 is equal to 0. So this becomes t square minus 4t plus 3t minus 12 is equal to 0, or we eventually get t minus 4 into t plus 3 is equal to 0. So I get the value of t is equal to 4. So if I get x square is equal to 4, we get the value of x is equal to, or t is equal to minus 3, which is not acceptable. Then x is equal to plus or minus 2. But mind you, x is the base of a logarithm, that can be negative. So I get a conclusion that x is equal to plus 2. Now let's replace here. This can be written as 3 log x to the base y is equal to 1, or I can write this as log x cube to the base y is equal to 1, or I can write this as x cube is equal to y to the power 1. We have the value of x, we can replace that. So 2 cube is the value of y, or we get the value of y is equal to h. Now we have x is equal to 2 and we have y is equal to 8, and the question is asking you the value of x plus y, and therefore the value becomes 2 plus 8, which is equal to 10, and that becomes the value of x plus y in the given question here. So not a difficult question, you simplify. The only difficult part here was to convert this equation into a quadratic equation format. Once that is done, the job becomes pretty easy for us to look at in the examination. Right? Now, this was again a beautiful question. If you observe your right hand side part, I have a 5x square. So 5x square is going to be positive. Clear? X square plus 1 is also going to be positive. That means mod x also has to be positive, because only a positive into positive will give you a positive value. But x will have two values. Okay? So if I simplify the positive value of mod x, this becomes 2x square into 2x into x square plus 1 is equal to 5x square. X gets cancelled, so you have 2x square plus 2 is equal to 5x, or we have 2x square minus 5x plus 2 is equal to 0. 2 to the 4, so we can write this as 2x square minus 4x minus x plus 2 is equal to 0. So we can take a 2x common, this becomes x minus 2 plus 1 common, it again becomes, minus 1 common, this becomes x minus 2 is equal to 0. So you have 2x minus 1 or x minus 2 is equal to 0, which means we have the value of x is equal to 1 by 2 or the value of x is equal to 2. Now the question is asking integer solutions, that means the value of x is equal to 2, but mind you, we have mod x here, so therefore the value of mod x will be equal to plus or minus 2. And thus, how many integer solutions you have? We have 2 integer solutions in the given question to us. Right? Now the next question is about let alpha and beta be two distinct roots of the equation 2x square minus 6x plus k is equal to 0. Now whenever we have this, the easier part to do is let's look at alpha plus beta. Alpha plus beta is equal to minus b by a, which is equal to minus of minus 6 by 2, which is equal to 3. And the product of the roots is equal to alpha beta, that is equal to c by a, which will be equal to k by 2. Now alpha plus beta and alpha beta are two distinct roots of another equation. So let's again do the same funda here. Sum of both the roots will be equal to minus p by 1, and product of both the roots will be equal to p. Now let's replace both of them here. If I replace both of them here, this becomes 3 into k by 2 is equal to the value of p. And let's replace all of them here. I replace this here, I replace this here, and I replace this also here. So what do we have? We have 3 plus k by 2 is equal to minus 3k by 2. or we have 3 is equal to minus 4k by 2, or we have the value of k is equal to 6, or this is 2 ones are 2 twos are, which is equal to minus 3 by 2. If k is equal to minus 3 by 2, what is the value of p? That is 3 into minus 3 by 2, which will give you minus 9 divided by 2. Now let's understand what is asked in the question. That is 8 into k minus p, that is minus of minus 9 by 2. That becomes plus here. So this becomes 8 into 9 by 2 minus 3 by 2, which is 6 by 2. And this becomes 2 ones are 2 threes are. So 8 threes are 24 becomes the final answer of this question. And thus the answer is going to be 24. Clear? Now let's look at this question here. This was a very interesting question in numbers here. Let n be a positive integer such that 168 is a factor of 1134. Now 168 can be written as 2 cube, that is 8, into 21, that is 3 to the power 1 into 7 to the power 1. And 1134 can be written as 2 into 3 to the power 4 into 7. You can factorize this whole to the power n. Which means 2 to the power n into 3 to the power 4n into 7 to the power n has a factor in the form of 2 cube into 3 to the power 1 into 7 to the power 1, which means all the power, that means this number should have the minimum power of 2 as 3, minimum power of 3 as 1, and minimum power of 7 as 1. So if you observe carefully, if I take the minimum value of n is equal to 3, all my conditions will satisfy. So therefore, we got the first value, that is the value of n is equal to 3. Now we have m is the least positive integer such that 1134 to the power n. What is 1134 to the power n? That is 2 to the power 3 into 3 to the power 12 into 7 to the power 3 should be a factor of 168 to the power m, that is 2 to the power 3m into 3 to the power m into 7 to the power m. Now again same thing, the powers, that the minimum value of these should be 3, 12 and 3. If you observe carefully, we have to take the minimum value of m is equal to 12 to accommodate these powers. So therefore the smallest possible value of m is equal to 12. And now the question is asking the value of m plus n. So the value of m plus n becomes 12 plus 3, which is equal to 15, becomes the smallest possible value of m plus n. Right? Now this question was a very easy question for one simple reason, no catch points. But the only thing we need to understand is, whenever I have surds a plus root b, let's say is equal to c plus root d, then we have to equate a is equal to c and b is equal to d. So let's square them up. When I square them up, this becomes a square, the square root goes up, plus b square, again the square root goes up, plus 2 into square root of 5 plus 9 into 5 minus 9, that is 25x square minus 81. Should be equal to 3 square is 9, and the square of 2 plus root 2, 2 square becomes 4, root 2 square becomes 2, plus 2 into 2, this becomes 4 root 2. So if I simplify, this plus 9 and minus 9 gets cancelled, so we have 10x plus 2 root of 25x square minus 81 is equal to 9 6 are 54 plus 36 root 2. So again we have in the form of surd, which means 10x should be equal to 54 and 2 into root of 25x square minus 81 should be equal to 36 root 2. Clear? So if I have 10x is equal to 54, now the question is asking you 10x plus 9, that is 54 plus 9 whole root over, which becomes root over of 63, which becomes 7 into 9 whole root over, and therefore the answer becomes 3 root 7, and 3 root 7 was there in the options, and that becomes your final answer. Right? The other way around, what you could have done is you could have gone back using options and you could have also got your answer. Even in that case, you could have got your answer in this case. Clear? Now let's look at this question. The minor angle between the hour hand and the minutes hand of a clock observed at 8:48 am. Now the angle between two clocks is by the formula 30h minus 11 by 2 into m. So if I simplify, this becomes 30 into 8 minus 11 by 2 into 48. So this becomes 2 ones are 2, 24s are What is 24 into 11? 24 into 11 is 24 into 10 minus plus 24, that is 264. So mod of 264 minus 240, that will give you 24. Now the minimum duration after 848, okay, when the angle increases by 50%, 50% increases means the angle should now become 36 degrees. Clear? Right? Now, 36 is equal to mod of 30 into 8 minus 11 by 2 into m. And I repeat, I want 11 by 2 to be greater than 48. Clear? So if I remove the mod, this becomes plus or minus 36 is equal to mod of 240, sorry, mod is removed. This is 240 minus 11 by 2m. So we take plus 36 is equal to 240 minus 11m by 2. So we transpose the values, we get 204 is equal to 11m by 2. Or from here we get the value of m is equal to 408 divided by 11. And now mind you, this is less than 48. So this is not acceptable. Now one more point where the angle will be is also greater than 848. So let's take minus 36 is equal to 240 minus 11m by 2. Let's simplify. So this becomes 276 is equal to 11m by 2. Or we get 2 6 are 12, 5, and this is 552 is equal to 11m. Or m is equal to 55 plus 2 by, sorry, 50 plus 2 by 11. Now how much more than 848? That will be 2 plus 2 by 11, which will eventually give you 24 by 11, and 24 by 11 was there in the option. So therefore this becomes a direct formula based question to look at in the examination. Right? Now let's start the algebra part. Certain questions from algebra needed a little bit of depth in mathematics. Right? So let me write this question here. Let us rewrite this question as x square plus x minus of 2y plus 1. I am writing this in the form of a minus b whole square, which is equal to minus 4xy plus, sorry, minus 4y square. Now let's open the brackets. This becomes x square plus a square plus b square. So 2y plus 1 whole square will give you 4y square plus 4y plus 1 minus 2 into a into b, that is 2x into 2y minus 1. Now this should be equal to minus 4xy minus 4y square. So if I simplify this, I get 2x square plus 4y square, and minus 4y square comes up. This becomes plus 8y square plus 4y plus 1 minus 2xy minus, sorry, minus 2 into 2 becomes 4xy minus 2x is equal to minus 4xy. So minus 4xy gets cancelled. So we have, I can rewrite this as 2 into x square minus x plus, I can rewrite this as 2 into 4y square plus 2y plus 1 is equal to 0. Now our job is to convert this in the form of sum of two squares is equal to 0. So if I have x square minus x, if I want to simplify, this can be written as x minus 1 by 2 whole square. Let's try to understand. What do I get? I get x square plus 1 by 4 minus 2 into 1 by 2 into x. So 2 and 2 gets cancelled, we get a minus x. So we can rewrite this as 2 into x minus 1 by 2 whole square. So what do we get here? We get 2 into x square minus x plus 1 by 4. Which means I have 2 into 1 by 4, I have to re-add half. We'll come back to this. Now this 4y square plus 2y can be written as 2y plus 1 by 2 whole square. Let's simplify. This becomes 4y square plus 2 into 2y into 1 by 2 will give you 2y plus again 1 by 4. So this can be written as y plus 1 by 2 whole square, which makes it as 2 into, sorry, 2y
2 into 4y square plus 2y plus 1 by 4. Now if you observe, 2 into 1 by 4 is half and 2 into 1 by 4 is half. That is equal to 1, which we have already incorporated, which should be equal to 0. So what do I eventually have? I eventually have 2 into x minus 1 by 2 whole square plus 2 into 2y plus 1 by 2 whole square is equal to 0. Now sum of two squares is equal to 0 will only happen when both of them are 0. So x minus 1 by 2 will be equal to 0 when x is equal to 1 by 2, and 2y plus 1 by 2 will equal to be 0 when y is equal to minus 1 by 4. Clear? Right? Now what is the question asking is x minus 2y, that is 1 by 2 minus of minus of 2 into minus 1 by 4. So 2 ones are 2 twos are, we get it as 1 by 2 plus 1 by 2. So therefore the value of this is going to be 1, and 1 was there in the options, and that becomes a minimum value of the question here. Yep, let's look at this question. So we have x cube plus 2r plus 1. This is 4r, mind you, there's a change in the question. Yeah, 4r minus 1x plus 2 is equal to 0, has minus 2 as one of the roots, which means I can write this as x plus 2 into a quadratic equation, which is in the form of ax square plus bx plus c. This is equal to 0. And I'm told that this equation has real roots. That means for this equation, we can apply that the value of d is greater than or equal to 0. So let's simplify this. So I divide x plus 2 with x plus 2, and I divide with the divisor, which is x cube plus 2r plus 1 x square plus 4r minus 1 x plus 2. So let's multiply with x square. If I multiply with x square, this becomes x cube plus 2x square. Let's subtract them. So this gets cancelled. So 2r minus 1 minus 2, which will actually give you 2r plus 1 minus 2 will give you minus 1 into x square. And then I have plus 4r minus 1 into x. So we then add with x into 2r minus 1. So when you multiply, this becomes 2r minus 1 x square plus 2 into 2r, that is 4r minus 2 whole into x. Now let's change the signs here. This becomes minus, so this becomes plus. So this gets cancelled, this gets cancelled. X plus 2x will give you x plus 2 plus 1 will give me x plus 2, and my final value becomes 0, which means my expression can be written as x plus 2 into x square plus 2r minus 1x plus 1 is equal to 0. Now the discriminant of this is going to be greater than or equal to 0. So b square, that is 2r minus 1 whole square minus 4ac is greater than or equal to 0. So we get 4r square minus 4r plus 1 minus 4 is greater than or equal to 0, or we have 4r square minus 4r minus 3 is greater than or equal to 0. So we get 4r square plus 2r minus 6r minus 3 is greater than or equal to 0. So we take a 2r common, this becomes 2r plus 1 minus 3 common, this again becomes 2r plus 1 is greater than or equal to 0. So we have 2r minus 3 into 2r plus 1 is greater than or equal to 0. So we are looking at inequality. Let's go to the number line here. So one of the roots is 3 by 2 and the other root is minus 1 by 2. So we go from the right hand side, plus, minus and plus. This is the rule of inequality. I want the minimum non-negative value. Non-negative value will be greater than 3 by 2. That means greater than 1.5. And greater than 1.5, the final answer is going to be 2. So therefore the minimum possible non-integral value of r is going to be 2 here. Right? Now let's look at this question. Now this question is a very interesting question. X square plus y square plus 4x. So I can rewrite this as x square plus 4x plus y square minus 6y is equal to 3. Now this so equation of a circle is always x minus a whole square plus y minus b whole square is equal to r square, where a and b will be the coordinates of the center of the circle and r will be the radius of the circle. So let's convert that. Since this is 4x, we can write this as 2 into 2 into x. So this can be written as x plus 2 whole square plus, this can be written as y minus 3 whole square. So on the left hand side we are adding 13. So on the right hand side also we need to add 13. That becomes 16, which is equal to 4 square. So what do I have here? We have a circle, okay, where the center of the circle is equal to minus 2 comma 3 and the radius of the circle is equal to 4. Now we draw two tangents from a common point. So if you know the basics of circle, this is the point L. Now whenever we draw two tangents, both the tangents are equal, both the radius are also equal, this is also common line. So these two triangles are congruent triangles. At the same time, radius and the tangent are 90 degree. And the angle between them is 60. Since they are congruent triangles, this becomes 30 and this becomes 30. So this triangle becomes a 30, 60, 90 triangle. So if opposite to 30 is 4 units, opposite to 90 will be 8 units. So let's look at the coordinates of L as x comma y. So we have coordinates of x comma y. We have one more coordinate called minus 2 comma 3 and the distance between them we know is equal to 8 units. So we can write this as x plus 2 whole square plus y minus 3 whole square is equal to 8 square. Now this point touches the line x is equal to 6 at what levels? If I look at x is equal to 6 here, if I replace 6, this already becomes x 8 square. So this will become 0 and this will become 0 at y is equal to 3. So at what point will it cross? At 8 comma 3 will the L point touch the coordinates when with the line x is equal to 6, sorry, x 6 comma 3, my bad. X is equal to 6, right? So 6 plus 2 is 8. So 6 comma 3 is the point at which L will cross the line at x is equal to 6, and 6 comma 3 was one of the options and that becomes your required answer. Now this was a very interesting question which on the face value seemed doable, but trust me, I found this question as one of the most difficult questions of the paper. Let's understand. In the examination, the average marks of 4 girls and that of 3 boys is equal to 20, sorry, 6 boys is equal to 24. This divided by 10 is equal to 24, or we get 4g plus 6b is equal to 240, or we get 2g plus 3b is equal to 120. Now what is the question given? The marks of the girl is at most double. That means the value of g is less than or equal to 2b and the value of g is greater than or equal to b. It is not less than the marks of any boy. Now let's replace b here. If I replace b here, what do I get? I get 2b plus 3b is equal to 120, or we get 5b is equal to 120, or we get the value of b is equal to 24. Let's replace b as 2b, that is 4b plus 3b is equal to 120, or 7b is equal to 120, or the value of b is equal to 120 by 7, that is 717.1. So what do I know? I know that the value of b is greater than or equal to 17.1 and less than or equal to 24. This is what we have. Now since since b and g are the marks, marks can be non-integers, right? Now on the total distinct integral values of 2g plus 6b. Now what I would do is I would write this as 2g plus 3b plus another 3b. Now we know the value of this is equal to 120. That means I want 120 plus 3b to be an integer. That means 3b should be an integral value. If b is equal to this range, then 3b would range from 51.3 to 72. And I want integral values of b. So can I say the integral values of b will be from 52 to 72. So 3b will take all the values from 52 to 72, which is 72 minus 52 plus 1. That means 3b is going to take how many integral values? 21 integral values is what 3b is going to take, and thus the total number of integral values of boys and girls will be equal to 21, and 21 was there as one of the options given in the exam. Now this, so let's look at the last question of the paper. Yeah, it was very lengthy for sure. It was not very difficult, but yes, it was definitely lengthy. So I'm given a circle, and in a circle we are inscribing a quadrilateral. Okay, so let's say I'm inscribing a quadrilateral in a circle, and I'm told that I have A, B, C, D, and this is 2x and this is x, and BC is 5y and this is equal to 4y, and I'm also told that these two diagonals are intersecting at a point called E. Okay, and I'm asked AE is to CE. Fine. So let's look at the chord AB. Now we know that chord subtends equal angle at the circumference. So if this angle is equal to P, then this angle is also equal to P. Similarly, chord CD, if this angle is equal to Q, then this angle is also equal to Q. Now chord DA, if this angle is equal to R, then this angle is also equal to R, and the chord BC, if this angle is equal to S, then this angle is also equal to S. So what can I comment? I can comment that the triangle CEB is similar to triangle DEA. Clear? CEB is similar to DEA. Similarly, I can also say that the triangle AEB is similar to DEC. Now let's write what all do we have here. So we have CE by DE is equal to BE by AE, which is equal to CB by DA, or BC by DA. We have the value of BC and we have the value of DA, that is 5:4. So this should be equal to 5/4. So CE and DE will be 5:4. So let me take this as 5A and 4A. Clear? CE and DE. Similarly, from here, I look at AE by DE is equal to EB by EC, which is equal to AB by CD. Clear? Now what do I have again? AB by CD here? AB by CD is equal to 2:1. Clear? Which means what do we have from here? So we have AE is to DE. So AE, okay, we'll come back to that as well. So I have AE and BE. I also have AE and BE here. The ratio is also 5:4. So let me take this as AE is 4B and BE as 5B. There are two different ratios, so we'll use two different variables. And I want the ratio of AE is to CE. So AE is 4B and CE is 5A. So I want the value of 4B is to 5A. Now if we understand, we have the value of BE. The value of BE is equal to 5B and the value of EC is equal to 5A. Now this is equal to 2:1. That means we get the value of B by A is equal to 2:1, or A by B is equal to 1:2. Clear? So when we get A by this is equal to 1:2, A by B is equal to 1:2, or B by A is equal to 2:1. So we can write this as 4 into 2 divided by 5 into 1, which will eventually give us 8:5 is the final ratio of the required question that is asked. So if I look at this kind of a triangle and we look at chords there, then trust me, the job becomes pretty easy. Right, so this marks the end of our discussion, guys. I hope you liked the video. Please like the video and please comment on what all did you like, and also comment on what are the things that you need or you expect from us, so that we can also record those things and that can help you in the journey of CAT. Right, and for people who are heartbroken, my advice is simple. The game is not over yet. The percentiles will be calculated after all the 3 slots are over. Do not forget, normalization also comes into place, and slot 1 being the most difficult, expecting the slot 1 normalization to be a slightly higher. So with less score also, you should be able to clear the sectional cutoff. So do not get disheartened. Let's have our fingers crossed. Let's wait for the final cutoffs to be out and the final percentiles to be out, and then we'll decide about our journey. So that's it from my side, guys. I hope you like this video. I hope you learned a lot. All the best, and stay tuned for coming videos. Thank you.